I'm Danny Wallace, and welcome to Be Inspired. We are here at the Impossible Manchester. We bring together the best speakers in their field to teach you all about spiritual connection, business growth, personal development. It is a one-stop shop for lighting up your life and your business.
I've seen Danny on Facebook, so I was curious to find out more about her and how she works. She's got an amazing energy to her.
I came today so I could sit in the audience and soak it all up, having spoke at the last Be Inspired.
I attended on Zoom in April and it was fantastic, and it had already changed my life at that point, so I knew that I just had to be in room, in real life this time.
Be Inspired is an event where you can come and recharge, reinvigorate, get yourself plugged in, hyped up, ready to take on the world. Some people want to connect with their business and their mission message and share that to a wider audience. Some people want to reconnect with their story and use their experience as somebody else's survival guide. People often come to me and think, oh, I want to be a speaker on stage, and this process is so much more than that. We hang out like the weirdos, like the crazy people, the people that actually do something with their lives, that plug into things like personal development, safe spaces for us to grow, to learn together and to support each other.
I have loved every minute. I am super pleased that I've nailed what I wanted to do.
The whole experience with Danny, she really helps to pull that out of you, and she helps to make sure that you're prepared, and she's there like holding space for you the whole way. Although I thought I was going to get my pants.
It has pushed me completely out of my comfort zone, but I've done it and it's an incredible experience, and now I want to do more.
There are a few ways you can get involved with Be Inspired. One is to join the Be Inspired Mastermind. Every 6 months, I open up 20 spaces for 20 incredible people to share their business and their mission message, and also work with me to really hone their talks so they can go and get booked, reach more people and make more money, honey. Or if you're not quite ready for that, just come and be in the room where it happens.
Be Inspired has been just such an incredibly positive experience for me.
Go for it and spread your message, because really powerful things happen when we all get together and connect.
You've got to be here, be inspired.
If you're thinking about buying a ticket to this event, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it now.
You can join us at the next event of Be Inspired on the 31st of March and 1st of April 2022. You would be a fool to miss it.
It never fails to make me feel excited watching that intro, watching that show reel, watching all of those. What's happening here? For anyone that's just listening on audio, there is just a little bit of hair just sticking right up in the air, not bother what he's doing, have his own little Wednesday rave. Seeing those speakers, seeing those phenomenal human beings that I've worked with in the past, seeing those phenomenal people that have been in the audience in the past for Be Inspired is a real heartwarmer first thing this morning. So good morning and welcome to Wise Up Wednesday. Welcome to the show, Wise Up, Rise Up Show with me, your host, Danny Wallace. I hope that you are feeling good today. So you may have seen that the description for the show today is showing up when it's difficult. One of the things that I try to do as best I can is always show up for you guys authentically, is to always show up sort of how I'm feeling in the moment, or if I felt something, to share and process that with you directly sort of after those things have happened. And today's kind of one of those days, not a showing up after the thing has happened, but to really just share honestly with you all that pressing live this morning was difficult. And it wasn't difficult because anything has happened. It wasn't difficult because, you know, I've been thrown any kind of curveball. It was difficult because last night I didn't get a lot of sleep. Last night was just one of those nights where you're up. It's a new moon. For those of you that are spiritual and those that are woo, today is a new moon. And for those that have been watching the show for any length of time now, we talk about the moon. I want to talk about that today. We talk about the cycles of the moon, and not even necessarily from a spiritual perspective or a woo perspective, but actually just from a really legitimately checking in with your business regularly, checking in with your personal development regularly. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But it made, when I eventually fell asleep, getting up in the morning really difficult. And some of the work, she's rubbing her eyes, some of the work that I do behind the scenes. Some of the work I do is like this. It's on a live. It's showing up regularly, showing up consistently. But if I think about the grand scheme of things, I think about, if I look at my work day, Wednesdays particularly are a really, really busy day for me, really busy day. And if I look at the day ahead, I'm actually going to be working, and I'm not proud when I say this, by the way. We're not talking about, oh, this is team no sleep and we're hustling. I'm not hustling. I'm just in that period of my work calendar whereby the work is intense, and today is one of those days. So I'm going to be working till pretty late tonight on a number of things. And I thought, well, if I think about people going live, they're not bothered if they don't go live sometimes. I go live consistently enough that if I say to everybody this morning, do you know what? There's no show today. No one's going to die. No one's going to get upset. No one's going to get in my inbox and go, Danny, do you know what? I'm really annoyed that you didn't go live this morning. No one is doing that. No one will do that. But I will not have shown up. And and this morning was one of those mornings where I could very easily have justified and talked my way out of not showing up. And if I remember the reason why I created this show in the first place, it was to get myself out of bed in the morning and be accountable for you guys. So I want to say first off this morning, thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me. We've got, I think, about 50 people watching across different channels as this is live right now. And knowing that you guys turn up for the show really helps me get out of bed, because here's the thing, the show's free. I don't get paid to do the show. I don't, it's not like an income generating activity. It's not sales activity. It's just me sharing my thing, being consistent, showing up, being here for the community, allowing my community to be here for me as well, and allowing myself to, guess what, overshare, externally process, do all the things that actually is to be Danny Wallace. But this morning was really difficult, sort of led in bed right up until, so you can see, for those that are watching kind of visually, I've got no makeup on. I've got my makeup bag here. Whilst I'm talking this morning, I'm going to put my makeup on. I get confused as to what day it is when you don't go live, Pixie's saying. Amanda Fox is saying, I'm in the same frame of mind today and had a restless night's sleep. I'm glad it's not just me. And I don't even think it's with the moon. I think that if I look at this week, energetically, there's a lot going on. If I look at the last 3 or 4 weeks, energetically, there's a lot of things going on. If I look at, the next 4 to 5 weeks, energetically, there's a lot of things going on. That's just me in my little world, right? That's not even thinking or considering everything else that is happening across the world. So, it's forgive me for using the phrase, when we talk about being in uncertain times, or when we look at things that are happening cross continent and we feel helpless, that's another energetic drain on us. And if the worst, and here's the thing, like I'm just led in bed right up until sort of 8:25 before I went for a wee before I pressed go live. If I think about, if the only hardship I've got this morning is to press go live, and that's not even a hardship, it's just a discipline thing. Because actually now that I'm live and I'm here and I'm with you and I'm doing the thing, I don't feel bad. I don't feel sad that I've pressed go live this morning. And it's the same for all of the things that you're putting off. It's the same for all of the things that you're trying to. If you right now are trying to talk yourself out of doing a piece of work that might not feel the most urgent, important thing for you right now, but you know that it will help you keep that consistency, it will help you maintain that discipline within your business, then show the fuck up for it. Because if that's the only hardship that you have right now, if that's the only hardship that you've got right now, you are lucky. I am lucky. And that's one of the real pressing feelings that I felt to kind of get out of bed. Look, Danny, if this is your hard, if this is how difficult things get for you, then God, Aren't you doing really well? And I had a bit of a like kick myself up the arse, like give me a little head wobble sort of thing. So that's kind of what I want to challenge you this morning, is choose your difficult. Like, is it difficult to have a busy day full of incredible one-to-ones with incredible clients, none of which I don't like? All of them are brilliant. None of them are knobheads. All of them are working on brilliant, incredible things. Am I sad that I've got an organization, 2 organizations now, that are moving at a trajectory that is, yes, it's exhausting. What's that telling me? And last night I was on a hot seat with the Amplify Mastermind, which is the mastermind that I run with the incredible well-heeled coach, Deep Bajwa. And one of the things that all of the mastermind were talking about was overwhelm. So I just want to know in the comments right now, is anybody feeling overwhelmed right now? And it's funny because there are waves of talk throughout the online space, throughout the business space, talking about, fatigue, exhaustion, tiredness, overwhelm, all of this sort of stuff. We're still in it. Just because we're highlighting it doesn't make it all of a sudden go away. So yes, here we are in March, but you might still feel tired. You might still feel exhausted. You might still feel overwhelmed. And one of the things that, we were saying as a collective, that I was saying as a mentor, that Deep was sharing with the rest of the group, is it's really important to ring fence time for yourself in order to do the things that you need to do. And that thing might just be sleep. That thing might just be to reset. That thing might be to meditate, to swim, to run, to do all the things. If I look at the amount of hours that I am working today, I had to make the decision and beat myself up for the decision last night that I wasn't going to go for a run this morning, because do I want to add more time onto my day when already mentally it's going to be really draining? And not draining in a bad way, just from a mental agility point of view. I'm going to be working out today. And I just want to share with you that if you feel like this, please don't beat yourself up. Please don't beat yourself up, and show up where you can. I could show up this morning. I wasn't like, oh, I can't show up. Oh my God. And it takes a real lot, I guess, for me not to show up. But today was almost one of those days. It was almost one of those days where I just went, you know what, guys, no show this morning. And had another hour's sleep and, got myself with my head in the game. Actually, this is getting my head in the game. Putting my face on is getting my head in the game, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now whilst I'm talking to you. So, good morning. If you are feeling like that, I encourage you to show up where you can. If you feel like it's just a bit difficult, ask yourself, can I do it? Am I just talking myself out of it? I'm not suggesting that any of you are lazy, by the way. Me being led in bed this morning at 9:20 still isn't me being lazy. It's me acknowledging the fact that, my Lord, if we look at Monday, let me share with you Monday. We've not caught up properly, have we, since Monday? Even since Monday, things have been crazy from a mental agility point of view, which, as it turns out, I have found, and I learned this when my dad had his brain injury, which, oh my gosh, 7 years ago now. My dad has an acquired brain injury. So he was completely healthy from a brain perspective prior. He had an accident whereby he fell off some faulty steps at the place that he was working, and acquired a catastrophic brain injury, which meant very, very quickly my sister and I had to learn about the brain and how does the brain work, and neuroplasticity, and synapses, and how different parts of the brain look after different things, how communication is looked after by 4 completely different parts of the brain. Get this, right? And I share this often with my speaking clients. The bit of your brain that looks after, why am I doing this with my hands? I've got a rush. If anybody's watching, listening on audio, I just started to rub my foundation into my face with my fingers, which is nothing wrong with, but I actually have a brush that I've got out for that purpose. So the bit of your brain that looks after speaking is different than the bit of your brain that looks after reading, is different from the bit of your brain that looks after writing. So all those different bits of your brain that looks after communication are completely different bits of your brain. So in order to communicate well consistently and all of that sort of stuff, you not only are you doing all your parasympathetic stuff, which breathing, your heart beating, your temperature regulation, all of that sort of stuff, you're also working on a number of things at any one time, like your digestive system's going, if you've eaten or you've drank, or your body's kind of working to work out, are you hungry, are you thirsty, are you safe, all of that sort of stuff. It's doing all that weighing up stuff, as well as all the conscious stuff that you're doing. So right now I am thinking about the words that I'm going to say. I'm saying the words that I'm going to say. I'm gesticulating to complement the words that I'm going to say. I am thinking about the technicality of what's happening here. I'm using StreamYard. I understand that, you know, we're broadcasting. I'm checking in with you guys. I'm looking at there's a lot, even just a lot, just that. It takes up a lot. So mental agility, actually, from an energetic point of view, takes up a lot of energy. So don't be, can't remember why I was saying that. Just your brain is a clever thing. It's a very clever thing. And we've got to be careful with it. And the things that we think that maybe don't take up a lot of energy really do take up a lot of energy. Yeah, no, it's incredible what we're able to do. In fact, Be Inspired alumni, the incredible Louise Westra, talks about the fact that I think your body does like 37 million things at any one time. Like your whole body, from the tip of your head to the bottom of your toes, at any one time, there are 37 million processes that are happening, whether it's hair growth, nail growth, your skin being activated, your adipose tissue working to keep you warm, your liver, your heart, your pancreas, whatever. As well as energetically everything that's happening in the world. No wonder we're tired. Is all I must say. And that's okay. So things that help me show up in the morning, I thought I'd share that with you. And I'd love to know this morning, this Wise Up Wednesday, share with the group, share with those, you know, your fellow watchers, your fellow listeners. No wonder we're tired with all that going. I'm tired just talking about it. It makes sense if you consider how tiring it can be when it seems like nothing, right? But actually, when we're driving, we are, or should be, in a state of hypervigilance. You know, we're moving at a speed that we are not designed to move at, even from that perspective. So yeah, what I would love to know from you guys this morning, I'd love you to share with everybody that's watching, are what are the things that get you moving even when you don't feel like moving? So Monday is a perfect example of something that was big that went on. That's why I was telling you all of that, because I'm still processing what went on Monday. What went on Monday, Dan? Well, I had the town hall meeting, the community launch meeting for the Fly Anyway Foundation. We had 80 people show on the call and hundreds of you on the replay that are catching up or have yet to catch up. And I went through with everybody that was on the call what was happening. Do we need a wee count? Well, like what maybe a wee count. So what I went through on the call was what is happening with the Fly Anyway Foundation. What are all the big things? How can you get involved? And one of the ways that everybody can get involved is to become an ambassador. I'm going to share with you this morning, actually, how you can become an ambassador and what it means to be an ambassador for the Fly Anyway Foundation, because I think it's really important for me to share it as often as I can, not just on a kind of an invite-only call, because somebody might be listening either on LinkedIn, for example, or you might be listening over on YouTube. You might come across this and think, oh, this is something that I can assist with. So very briefly, the Fly Anyway Foundation is a foundation that I've set up, a community interest company that I have set up that's going to be a charity that is going to help survivors of domestic abuse. And I'm going to use that term as little as I can and try and alternate my language with people who have experienced domestic abuse, because if we identify, so I have overcome domestic abuse. It is something that I experienced as a child. It is something that I experienced as a teenager. It's something that I experienced in my 20s. It's something I've experienced both in the family and also as part of my intimate partner relationships into my 20s. Something that I've healed from, something that I've gotten through. If somebody was to say, Danny, are you a victim of domestic abuse? The answer is categorically no. Danny, are you a survivor of domestic abuse? In this moment, I don't feel like a survivor. That might be a descriptor for for something, yeah, for sure. But do I identify as a survivor? Not particularly. I identify as somebody who has experienced domestic abuse, because as a survivor, that's a label that I then carry with me, somebody who is almost susceptible to it in the future, right? But if I've experienced it, I know. If I've experienced failure, for example, not that experiencing domestic abuse is failure, but if you experience failure, for example, does that make you a failure forever? Are you susceptible to failure going forward? Not particularly, not if, not everybody is, but are you susceptible to, I don't know. I just think the language around it can be quite important, and I really want to consider when I speak about people that engage with the Flying Away Foundation as a service, that they get to start to relinquish themselves of their victimhood, because I think that's really important when it comes to recovery. There have been surveys done where people who have experienced domestic abuse have, asked how they identify, and over half of them are like, I really don't want to identify as a survivor or a victim. Some of them are apathetic, some of them, a very small quantity do, and that's okay, like however you want to identify. But for me, in the space of the Flying Away Foundation, trying to identify people as people who have experienced domestic abuse in any of its guise, it really takes away from that victimhood. Anyway, I digress. So I've set it up to help people with domestic abuse, help people who have either gone through the other side of it, post-crisis, point of crisis, or if it comes to, rehousing, rehoming. So the plan for the Flying Away Foundation, because we have some phenomenal backers now, some international companies who've seen what we're doing and have said, we want to grow with you. We want to work with you to grow the Flying Away Foundation to everything it possibly can be, which is just mind-blowing, and it's happened in a relatively short space of time. So the plan now is, in stage 1, is to have business development. So I've got to start where I know. Starting where I know is definitely within the field of business. So I can, on the ground running, with very little sort of upfront cost, get the foundation moving, where we can plug people who have experienced domestic abuse into business goods and services, mentorship, befriending services, so that they can grow a business. That's stage 1, and that's the stage that we launched on Monday. So I'm going to talk to you this morning how you can get involved with this, by the way. If you weren't there, don't worry, I'm going to tell you how you can get involved. So the second stage is employability. So one of the things that I found is that being employed, being someone who's experienced domestic abuse, employment was really toxic for me, was really damaging for me. It's not the same for everybody, but I found it really triggering, being told what to do, having my movements watched. For example, I was working in a contact center, and it's very, very difficult to engage in the way that companies expect when you are carrying a degree of trauma with you. So even though I was very, very capable within my roles, I wasn't showing up for my roles. I didn't care so much for it. I wasn't really, fulfilled in those roles, and I behaved accordingly. And only looking back now, that I realized a lot of that was a trauma response, and being able to work for myself has enabled me the freedom that I craved in order to, grow, in order to earn, in order to have that flexibility back, in order to be powerful again, I guess. Where I wasn't before, to take back control of my finances, my self-confidence. But that's not for everybody. So the next stage is employability. So working with partnerships like the DWP, for example, working with experts in teaching when it comes to English as a second language. So ESOL, getting ESOL practitioners to come in, because a lot of people who experience domestic abuse, it's 1 in 4 women, by the way, 1 in 6 men, and 1 in 9 parents if they experience it from a child to parent point of view. And that's just 3 statistics throughout the, the genders and the familial relationships. There's lots of different statistics around, but they're 3 that may mean something to you guys. Employability becomes really difficult, and from an English as a second language point of view, there are people that come over to the UK, particularly now if we look at what's happening in the UK right now, we will be taking in refugees. Those refugees may experience domestic abuse, how do we support them from an employability perspective? So there's lots of different facets to employability. One of the focuses for the Domestic Abuse Commission, for the DWP, for the government, is to get, excuse me while I zip my bag up, is to get as many people employed as possible, is to get many people off of benefits, if you will, and into employment. Well, what if that's difficult? What support are we really giving that's trauma informed? Because I've worked in welfare to work, and so you can see why I got out of bed this morning, right? I've managed to get out of bed and managed to get my ranty pants on, and I knew I would. But I've worked in welfare to work, and I've seen how people are forced into work and have their benefits sanctioned, and none of what they provide is trauma informed. I've not seen within any welfare to work program, which are government contracts where private companies help, in inverted commas, people into work, have the capability to sanction people's benefits. None of what they deliver is trauma informed. If we identified, so I worked with some of the most difficult to employ, again, in inverted commas, just using the language of the program at the time. I was given no support from a trauma perspective. What people in this particular position may be a barrier to employment for them. So providing support for employability so that we can help take away some of those barriers to work. Second stage. Third stage is post-crisis support. So working with our partners, external providers, suppliers, therapists to provide and rewrite the standard program for the UK for domestic abuse. So I am playing small, y'all. At the moment, the Freedom Programme is one of the most accessed. I think it's out of date. I think it's very heteronormative, and I think that it's very white. And I think that there are things that need to be done in order to have a universally accessed program that is more accessible, that is more inclusive. So the next stage is to rewrite that and provide training for employers, provide training for healthcare services, to provide training for people who have experienced domestic abuse, for families of people who have experienced domestic abuse, so that they can support, so they know what to do. Because at the minute, like the question I get asked most, even though I don't help in this particular field right now, I'm just a businesswoman right now, right? Public speaking coach. But I get asked, my friend is experiencing this, what do I do? So there are very few resources out there that really comprehensively and accurately take you through what you can do, that make, we're very disempowered when it comes to that, which makes it very difficult to support people who are experiencing this. So post-crisis support, then crisis support, because then we will have everything that we need in terms of funding to deliver that regionally and nationally. And then the big dream, and this is a huge dream of my sister and I, of mine and my sisters since we were very small, is that we will be opening a series of a national network of refuges. So we are aiming and able to open our first refuge within the first 3 to 5 years, which is jaw-dropping, right? So you can imagine, I'm feeling a little bit tired at the minute. Things are moving pretty quick, right? As well as be inspired, as well as servicing all these fantastic clients, as well as all of these amazing things that are happening with IATQB. This is happening at a rate of knots. So we're moving and mobilizing very quickly to make sure that we've got project leads in place, service managers in place, so that we can implement all of that. And I can do all like the figurehead jazz hand stuff like this, for example, go and do the education pieces, go and do the, key person of influence stuff, so that we can, get enough interest, get enough fundraising in, so that we can do all these things. What does that mean for you guys? Where does that have you fit in if you're watching along this morning? So we are actively right now seeking ambassadors to come in to our community and offer to either donate or subsidize, and there's room for subsidization here. It doesn't all have to be, you have to all volunteer your services, especially if you've got a business under 2 years old. We want to help as many of you as possible grow your businesses. So if you're great at what you do, and you can come, say if you're a web designer, for example, and your business is very new, then you can come to us and say, hey, I can offer some web design services. I can offer them like a discounted rate. Then we can do a package of maybe business builders that come to you. So you've got like a ream or a steady stream of clients that are coming through that are paid. So we really want to utilize the community as a community, not just we want you to volunteer and we want to take. We want it to be this holistic, we give back, you give back, we give back, sort of circle of life of support. How I really see and envisage this working, and already I can see this coming to the fore, is having our ambassadors in place in our community group. We are creating a program for people who can't immediately offer a business good or service. They might be able to offer a befriending or accountability mentorship to a business builder. So we're looking for ambassadors right now. And if you want to be an ambassador, you can go to imthequeenbee.co.uk/fly anyway, and you can apply to be an ambassador. So to be an ambassador, it's free. So you just need to sign up, tell us what you can subsidize or donate. We'll welcome you into our community. When the time comes and we bring, and this is in the next 4 weeks, and we bring our first business builders into the community, then actually we're ready to pair you up, match you up, do all the DBS checks, safeguarding training, all of that sort of stuff, and we can get started. There is another level of ambassadorship that you can get involved with that's even more meaningful and beneficial to you. So we have gold ambassadorships available, whereby if you decide to become a gold ambassador, what you can do is you can come to our annual general meetings, have input, provide feedback, come to our networking events. So not Be Inspired, my apologies, for Fly Anyway Foundation business networking events, anything Fly Anyway Foundation event wise, you will have a ticket to if you are a gold ambassador. If you are a normal ambassador, if you're just like a ambassador standard edition, then you'll be able to come to those, but there'll be like a nominal charge in order for us to put the event on. But gold ambassadors are invited and have free tickets to all of our Fly Anyway Foundation events. For Be Inspired, if you are a gold ambassador, you get a free digital ticket for every Be Inspired for as long as you are a gold ambassador. And lots of other perks, including, I can't wait, these get delivered on Friday. So hopefully in time for the show. If not in time for the show, then I'll show you on Monday. But you get a very, very exclusive, very special gold ambassador Fly Anyway Foundation plaque for you to display, plus digital assets that you can display on your website to say that you're supporting us, so you can share that you're giving back from a social responsibility, corporate responsibility point of view, sort of global citizenship, corporate citizenship thing. So we'll give you loads of assets that you can use to share on your socials, share on your website, and indeed a physical asset. And I was so excited about these, honestly. We've had people become gold ambassadors just because they want the plaque. All of that money goes directly to business builders and to the service. So none of it kind of is taken by me as a salary, for example, or by Danielle, our co-director. It all goes to the core costs running and on the floor for our business builders. So for everybody that becomes a gold ambassador, know that your money is going directly to the service and the work of the service. None of it's taken by me. I want a huge shout out to our gold ambassadors so far who have signed on the dotted line. SJ, Sarah Jane Lewis, our Be Inspired alumni, power woman extraordinaire. You want to hear this woman speak. I know it's a topic that's close to your heart. Has become one of our very first gold ambassadors. Denise Matthews has become one of our first gold ambassadors. Vicky Head, Diane Ivory, Tanya Ibbison, Sandra Tenhooper. There's loads of you that have become gold ambassadors to start with. So if you do want to become an ambassador or a gold ambassador, go to imthequeenbee.co.uk/fly anyway. If you're not in a position to be a gold ambassador right now, don't worry. Just get in that community, come and offer your support if you are able. There's a little form that you've got to fill out so that we can, properly vet everybody. We obviously we're working with people who have the potential to be vulnerable, and we have to make sure that we do due diligence checks. Please keep your peepers peeled for the next few weeks if you want to be a business builder. So if you have experienced domestic abuse and have a business idea and need support with that, then you can come to us, work through our business plan. Me and Danielle will have an interview with you to create a support prescription for you, and we can kick off that support in the next 4 weeks' time. So excited. So we'll be starting with about 15 business builders to start with, then growing to 20, and then as our community grows, we can service more people. So it's all happening. And so this morning, when I've not had a lot of sleep and there's been a lot going on and my brain's been working on a lot of things, I can give myself a little bit of a break. Like, I think, you know what, Danny, it's not been a bad week. We've definitely moved in the direction that we want to move in. So there are loads of opportunities to get involved with the Flying Away Foundation, loads of ways to give and get back as well. Like, we want this to be a reciprocal situation. Yes, please do volunteer if you're able to volunteer, but why not get something from it as well? For example, we've got corporate sponsorship opportunities for Be Inspired. So if anybody wants any information about the corporate sponsorship opportunities, I'm going to be emailing about that today. I'm going to be posting about that in the Hive. But we have lots of opportunities for you to sponsor different aspects of Be Inspired, and 10% of that sponsorship will go to the Flying Away Foundation. So say if you don't have £500 sitting around in the bank right now, you might be able to sponsor a table, for example, or you might be able to sponsor a speaker, for example, or you might be able to, if you're feeling a bit flush, you might be able to be our headline event for our headline sponsor, for example, or sponsor our networking gin nest, or host a table, which, if you have an audience, if you have a group, is a really good shout, because actually it works out that each person on the table that you host gets their 2-day ticket at just a little over half price, which is insane. So if you want to host a table, probably the best. I think we've got 5 or 6 tables that are up for grabs for being hosted. So if you know 8 people who want to come to Be Inspired, then you can get your ticket significantly cheaper if you were coming anyway. So give that a little think. See, and 10% of that sponsorship money will go to the Fly Anyway Foundation. So that's another way that you can give. So that's what's happening. That's what happened on Monday. That's what I kind of put out into the world on Monday, and things are moving at rate knots. So thank you for being the community that gets me out of bed in the morning. What gets you out of bed in the morning? I want to know. So my mission's pretty meaty, right? My mission is always, I was talking to, a group about our message within our message. Are there any ways to get involved for fundraising? Yes, absolutely. So you can do fundraising. We can give you the PayPal link for sponsorship. You can set up a GoFundMe and do any kind of fundraising. I'm running a 10K, so the Flying Away 10K on the 1st of May in Manchester Heaton Park in association with Sister. So if anybody wants to fundraise for that and share that and all of that sort of stuff, then you can. But however you want to do it, any way you want to get involved in terms of fundraising, you absolutely can. And thank you for those of you that that are showing that they want to get involved in this. The scope for this is huge. So not just from a person who has experienced domestic abuse perspective, but also from a small business perspective and supporting small businesses, whether they are a business builder or whether you in business have a young business that needs a leg up, whether whether we're looking at employability in regional areas. So we're really really taking back power as a group of phenomenal human beings in lots of different ways, not just from a, hopefully potentially one day bringing that number of people who experience domestic abuse down, so it isn't 1 in 4 anymore, but from an employability perspective, from an economics perspective, taking back our power in more ways than just physically, more ways than just emotionally, but actually in a way that contributes to our communities. So really, really exciting stuff. So thank you for listening about that this morning. I really appreciate your time listening about the Flying Away Foundation. It really is a heart project. My sister and I both swore when we were younger, after seeing the way that, Dad behaved towards Mum, how things really unfolded when we were young children and teenagers, that if we were ever in a position to help, then we would. And our life work, mine and my sister's life work, has been working towards making this happen. So me, from a business perspective, creating a business that is so successful that it allows me to make my family secure so that I can do this. Me, from a public speaking perspective, helping as many people as possible take up space with their voice to share their business and mission message with, in an articulate way, in a way that can change the world. If I look at speakers from Be Inspired, what they're going to do. So learning how to do that and learning how to create a business, learning how to make money so that we can fund these projects. My sister's life's work has been working on the inside of social care, that he understands it in its entirety. So Gemma right now works in a refuge. She's learning how a refuge works. She's learning what provisions there are out there. She's worked in the homeless sector. She's worked with young and vulnerable families. So understanding that, like, me and Gemma are like a power team. So us being able to make this happen now is a huge, it's not just we want to help, we want to give back a little bit. The Fly Anyway Foundation is a lifetime of work, is a lifetime of experience, is a lifetime of overcoming victimhood so that we can show other people that there is an alternative. So it is big stuff. I got on my soapbox again, didn't I? Rachel, listening to you today has made me realise I need to have more of a conversation with my sister to try and get her on board with her business to help business builders. Yeah, absolutely. Refuge work is hard work, bless her heart. It is hard work, and it's so rewarding when you see the light bulbs happen, when you see people strengthen themselves and galvanize themselves so that they can't be bullied anymore. It's when they start to learn what boundaries are, when they start to learn what their absolute non-negotiables are for their hearts and for their bodies again, is just phenomenal work and really, really difficult. And I can't wait to roll my sleeves up and get involved with it. But that does mean that we get to do things in the meantime to make it fun. It can be fun. We can do this work and it can be fun. So for me, from an events point of view, I want to put in front of you as many opportunities for you to learn, for you to engage, for you to grow, so that we can all give back together. And that starts with Be Inspired at the end of this month. So if you want to know about the corporate sponsorship packages, please let me know. I'm going to share those. For those that have said that they've got a group, we'll be getting in touch with you just to share. If you want to have a look, if you want to host a table, sponsor a speaker, it's great advertising space. We have a great captive and engaged audience in that room and also online. So we are aiming to sell 1,000 online tickets in the next 4 weeks. Oh my God, it's 4 weeks. Tomorrow, Be Inspired. So we're looking to sell 1,000 online tickets. And if we sell 1,000 online tickets, we will give £10,000 to the Fly Anyway Foundation. So yeah, really, 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 really excited. If you want to become an ambassador, go to imthequeenbee.co.uk/fly anyway. Why was I talking? Why does the description on this live this morning speak to you not being able to get out of bed in the morning? Or why do we show up when things are difficult? Here's how I show up when things are difficult. I have something outside of myself that is bigger than myself that I get out of bed for. What is that for you? Is it your kids? Is it to prove to past you that you can do it? Is it to prove to somebody that's bullied you before that actually you're none of the things that they thought you were? Is it to slay the dragon of your imposter syndrome? Is it like me to show up for your community who show up for you every single day? Is it so that, is it to learn discipline? Is it to do, what is it for you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? What helps you do the work that you need to do in order to move you, yourself, your business, and your family forward in the way that you truly, truly desire? I want to know. Tell me in the comments. Have a think on that today. I'm so grateful that I started this show 2 years ago this month. Can you believe? 2 years ago this month. Jacqueline, hi, sorry I couldn't make the meeting, but I will definitely check out how I can help. I love that you're speaking your truth. I also experienced domestic abuse throughout my childhood and have used this to propel my success to help others. It is empowering and really helps other people. Say it, sister. I see you. Jacqueline, go to imthequeenbee.co.uk/fly anyway, and you can sign up to be an ambassador there. Share with us how you'd like to help, or you can become a gold ambassador as well. And get involved with all of those incredible perks and bonuses, and also give back so that we've got money on the floor right now to start helping business builders. Thank you to everybody who's got involved. Thank you to everybody that stayed with me on the show this morning. Thank you to those of you that are watching on replay. I love you. I'm grateful. Thank you for getting me out of bed in the morning. You fill me up. Thank you. I will see you on Friday for more showing up, wising up and rising up. And hopefully we'll have even more to celebrate together then. I'll see you then. Take care.